In this video we're going to learn how to make multiplication challenge. We have two characters. We have the yellow fish here, and that character is you, racing against the purple frog. Now they're both going to move forwards, and the object of the game is to be the first one to touch the pink starfish over here. The purple frog is going to move continuously, but your yellow fish will only be allowed to move if you answer a question correctly. At the same time, you will be awarded 3 points for a correct answer, but a point will be taken away from you if you answer a question incorrectly. Let me show you how it works. I'll press the green flag to start. And there's our first question. 4 times 4, that's 16. 5 times 5 is 25. 9 times 11 is 99. That was 12. 24. I think the frog's winning. 42, quickly. 100. 9 times 9, 81. Oh, did the frog just about win then? Well, never mind. Maybe next time, on next round, we'll have a better chance of winning and beating him. Now, if you're enjoying this content and these Scratch tutorials, would you please hit the subscribe button and click the bell as well? You know, I really appreciate all the support, and it helps me in the YouTube algorithm. Okay, let's get started making our multiplication challenge game. So let's get started to make our game. The first thing we're going to do is to choose a background, a backdrop, where our story is going to take place. So come down here to the stage, down to the bottom, choose a backdrop, and this takes you to a section with a whole variety of different backgrounds that you could choose. You can scroll down. Notice that they're in alphabetical order. So if you've got a theme, an idea of where you want to be, you could go straight to it. I'm going to go to an underwater scene, and I'm going to choose this one here, Underwater 1. Now you might find that when you've chosen one, you've selected it, actually you don't like it so much and you prefer a different one. So what you do, just come back down again, back to choose a backdrop, and then go and choose a different one. Choose the one that you'd really like. Now this is the one I chose last time. I'm just going to go and click the other underwater scene. No, actually, I think I prefer the first one. So the way to change that, just click on backdrops, then backdrops here. And now, can you see these are the different backdrops that I chose? Notice as I click on them, you get a little rubbish bin in the corner. That's how you can delete it. So the one that you don't want, just delete, and it leaves you with the one that you do want. Now the one at the top was the one that was there right at the beginning. You can click on that and delete it. It's not necessary, it's up to you. Go to code, and then we decide on who our character is going to be. Now at the moment, this is the default character. This is one that always comes up. This is Scratch the Cat. Now if you don't want him, just come down here. Notice I clicked on him to select him, and that's why we've got the little rubbish bin there just to delete. To choose a different character, come down here, choose a sprite, and here we have all the different characters. Now, depending on which backdrop you chose, maybe choose a character, a sprite, that would suit that backdrop. Now, I've chosen underwater, so I want something that would live underwater. And notice again, these are all in alphabetical order as well. So if I want something underwater, I might choose something like a fish. Actually, I'll go back up to F and find fish. Here we go. Now notice as I'm hovering over that, this sprite has more than one costume, and this is just showing you all the different costumes that sprite has. As I click onto it, the costume there that's chosen, this one here, looks a bit like Nemo, doesn't it? You may prefer one of the other costumes. If you do, just come over here to costumes, and that'll give you the chance to see all the different costumes that sprite has. At the moment, we have this one, and it's looks a bit like Nemo. We could click on the next one. That's like Dory. The next one, oh, it's a bit scared looking. And the next one, oh, yeah, I quite like that one. I'm going to keep this sprite and this costume. So go back up to code. Here's the sprites that I've chosen and the costume that I've chosen. Now you can click to get him to start anywhere that you would like on the stage in the screen there. So I'm going to pop him here and come over now to the code. So these are the code blocks and these are the folders. So you have motion, look, sound. You can see all the different blocks that are in those folders. Now the one that's showing at the moment, can you see this is the one that's selected here, and it's a little bit grayer than the others. That's the one that's selected. If I click on a different one, it shows you what blocks are in that folder. Another way of doing it is just to scroll down or scroll back up again. Now to start off with, we always choose an event to get our code started, and this is the one that I usually choose when the green flag is clicked. Now because this is going to be a question and answer, multiplication facts, questions and answers, when the green flag is clicked, I want my sprite to ask a question. That's in sensing, and the question he's going to ask is, what is, and I want a multiplication question. Oh, just move that hand away. 5 times 4. That can be my question. So I'll have a question mark on the end. So what is 5 times 4? That's what my sprite is going to ask. And then he's going to wait. I could give him different answers. I might give him the right answer, the correct answer, or I might give the wrong answer. So we go back over here to control, and then this is the block that we need here. So if the answer is correct, something will happen, or if the answer is incorrect, something else will happen. So let's just click those two together, and I'm going to come down to an operator, and it's the equals one, this one here, equals. So if my answer equals something, so inside I need a sensing again, the answer. If my answer equals 50, well, what was my question? What is 5 times 4? 5 times 4, what's the answer? 5 times 4, 5 times 4, 20, yes. If my answer is 20, then he's going to say correct for 2 seconds. But if I give the wrong answer, then he's got to say incorrect or wrong for 2 seconds. All right, let's try that. So when the green flag is clicked, so click the green flag. There we go. What is 5 times 4? And we need to type the answer in down here. So we know the answer is 20. Correct. Okay. All right, let's try that again. So green flag. What is 5 times 4? Let's put the wrong answer in. So I'll put 30 this time. Incorrect. Okay. But we only have one question, don't we? What if we wanted more than one question? What could we do? Well, what I'm going to get you to do now is just pause the video, see if you can get your program set up similar to mine. Now, it doesn't have to be the same. Let's have a different backdrop. Let's have a different character there. You choose what you'd like to have. You can choose a different question. It doesn't have to be 5 times 4, but you get your program set up similar to mine, and then have a think, what can you do to get more than one question? Okay, we're going to pause the video, see how you get on. If you get stuck, don't worry, I'll come back in a few minutes and we'll work out the answer together. Good luck. So did you manage to work it out? I expect you've got your backdrop set up and you've chosen your sprite. You did all that. And then with this part here, did you manage to work out how to get extra questions? Well, what you could have done is just grab the blocks from over here and pop them on the end, and that would have worked, that would be fine. A quicker way, let me show you a quick trick here. If I grab those there and right click, can you see we have a duplicate? So now I have two that are both the same. If I pop this one underneath and pop them both together, now I have two questions. Do you see they're both the same though? So I need to change this one here. So instead of saying what is 5 times 4, let's think of a different question. So what is 5 times 4? Our next one could be something like, what is 2 times 12? Okay. Would that have the same answer? So before we had 5 times 4 equals 20, but this time 2 times 12 equals 2 times 12, 2 times 12, 24. All right, so now we've got two questions. Let's have a third one. So I'll separate those again, right click, duplicate, pop it on the bottom, join those together. The next one, and we'll say what is, let's choose a different question here. What is 6, oh we've had a, yep, no, 6 times, or 7, a tricky one, question mark. And let's try that out. So that's our first question. What is 5 times 4? 20. We knew that one, didn't we? And the next question. What is 2 times 12? 24. Okay, correct. What is 6 times 7? Oh, 6 times 7. 6 times 7. 42. Try that. Oh, incorrect. 6 times 7. That's 42. What's gone wrong? 42. Let's have a look over here. 6 times 7. Ah, can you see? We still have 24 from the last answer up there. Let's change that. 42. We'll try it again. Okay, what's 5 times 4? 20. Yes, correct. What is 2 times 12? 24. Yes, correct. And then what is 6 times 7? 42. Correct. Okay. And what we could do here, we could keep adding on lots more questions, remembering to change the answer so that it gets it right. But we could add a whole list of different questions going down and down and down. But that is a little bit limiting, and what we could do is get the computer to randomly generate its own questions. So instead of us having to write out the answers all the time for ourselves, we could get the computer to randomly generate. So it could randomly generate two different numbers. So to set that up, we go over to variables, and we need to make a couple of new variables. Notice when we times two numbers together, those two numbers vary each time. They are the variables. So let's make a new variable, and we could call it number 1 and then number 2, or let's just call it A and B. So my first number is going to be variable A, and my second number is going to be variable B. Can you see they're over here as well on the stage? So now I have variable A and variable B. I need to tell the computer to randomly generate numbers. So go down to operator and pick a random number from 1 to 10. I'm going to have it 1 to 12, make it a little bit trickier. And so that's for A. Now I could go back and get another block the same for B, but let's just duplicate that and say the other one is for B. So now we have A and B. Pick a random number 1 to 12 for A, and pick a random number 1 to 12 for B. And then what we need to do is go and get 4 different join blocks, and I'm going to show you what to do with these and why we need 4 of them. So here are the 4 blocks that we are going to use, and we're going to say in the first one here, the first part of our question. So what is, and then I'm going to join that, and we need the variable a there for our first number. What is a? Join that in. And then times, I'm just going to put a space on either side of that times. What is a times, and then in there I'll have the b variable and a question mark on the end. So can you see now that this line sort of matches this ask block? What is, and then instead of using two numbers that we've made up, the computer is going to randomly generate a number for a, randomly between 1 and 12, and then multiply that and join it to b. So what is a times b, another randomly generated number between 1 and 12, and that is our question. All right, now I'm going to remove those last two questions, and I can just throw them in the bin. I can pop them over there and they'll just disappear. So this is what we had before. This is what we're going to use now. I want you to pause the video, set up this part here, the randomly generated numbers, the two variables a and b, set this up, and then have a think about what needs to be replaced with that original code. Pause the video. If you get stuck again, don't worry, I'll be back in a few minutes, give you a hand, but let's see how you get on. Okay. That was really tricky. Did you manage to work out what you have to do? All right. What we will do first of all, we'll pop those at the top there. So this sets the random numbers for number A and number B, the first two numbers. Then we'll pop that one on there. But instead of saying what is 5 times 4, this is where we use this one here. And it just goes into our question. So now it's going to ask what is, and it'll randomly generate an A number, the first number, multiplied by, and a randomly generated b number. Finally a question mark because it's a question. So it's going to randomly generate those numbers. So let's give it a try now. Okay, what is 11 times 10? Okay, 110. Enter. Incorrect. Now it's 110. Let's have a look at our code again. We've got the random numbers, we have our question. If our answer equals 24, that's where we've gone wrong. So we don't want just the same answer every time because our question's going to change. We need to put the variables into the answer as well. So we need to go and get an operator, and it's the multiplication operator, this one here. And inside there, we're going to have to put those two variables again. So the variable a multiplied by the variable b, and that will go where the answer is. If our answer equals variable a times variable b, then we'll say correct. In fact, I might just put that down to 1 second. I think 2 seconds is a little bit too long sometimes. That should work. Let's give that one a go. What is 8 times 7? What is 8 times 7? 56? Let's try that. Correct. Okay. But it's only giving me one question, and I'd like to have more than one question. Do you know how to do repeat questions? Let's go to Control, Repeat. Now, what part of this needs to go inside our repeat? Well, let's put the whole lot inside and then pop it back up there. So now we're going to have 10 questions, and it's going to generate a random number for every question. Don't make the mistake of only putting this into our repeat and leaving that at the top. It all has to go inside the repeat loop. Let's try it now. What is 7 times 10? Oh, 70. Correct. What is 12 times 7? Oh, 84. That's a hard one. Another. What is 9 times 10? 90. Yeah, let's put the wrong answer in this time. What is 12 times 10? Let's do the wrong answer. Let's say 100. Incorrect. All right. I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to get you to pause the video because our next section needs you to have all this up to date. So pause the video, and what we're going to do next is to put in some extra challenges. One of the challenges could be that we might make a score, or I don't know, we might move the sprite every time he gets an answer correct. Maybe move forwards and maybe move backwards if he gets it wrong. So you get your code up to this point here, pause the video, and then I'll show you what to do next. So our game's just about finished, but what we could do next is just to make it a bit more interesting, a bit more competitive. So what we could do is have a scoring system. So come over here to variables, make a variable, and we'll call this one score. Okay, and there it is on our screen on the stage. Now we want the score to be displayed, but we don't want these two numbers. Do you remember those two numbers that were the variables? We don't really need those two showing. So to stop them showing, we just untick them. So we can still use them, but they're just not being displayed on the screen. The score can be displayed in different ways. This one is the normal readout. It can also be shown as a large readout, and that's where the number's a little bit larger and it doesn't say the word score. The other way is to show as a slider, a sliding score. But the one I'm going to choose is just the large readout, and I'll pop that just over in the corner. Okay. So how do we use the score? Well, to start the game, we want the score to be set as 0. So we'll bring this one over, set the variable, and we don't want A, we'll have score. Set the score to 0, and that needs to be at the beginning. So before we start the game, set the score to 0. And then every time we get a correct answer, we're going to change the variable score by, well, let's increase it by 3, shall we? Let's make it a little bit interesting, because if we get a correct answer, we'll go up by 3, but let's also say we'll change the score by -1, -1, if we get the answer incorrect. So start at 0, 3 points if we get it right, and -1 if we get it wrong. Okay. Another thing we could do is we could have our character just moving forward slightly every time we have a correct answer. So let's put him in the position we want him to start, and I'll show you why. If we go over to motion here, the XY coordinates are shown there, and they're also shown down here as well. Now if we move our character, do you see that they change? And also they change over here. I'll show you again. Can you see? Every time we move our sprite, those XY coordinates reflects the position where our sprite is. So let's put him where we want him to start, and then we go and get the block. Now we know that the XY coordinates are already reflecting the position. This saves us having to type in these coordinates ourselves. They're already set up for us. So when the green flag's clicked at the beginning of the game, we're going to set the score to 0, and we're going to make sure that our sprite starts in this position, because he's going to move forwards, and when we start our new game, we want him to start back in this position again. So he'll start there, and then every time we get an answer correct, he's going to move on the x-axis, so he's going to move forwards by I'm going to move that to 20. Let's just test this out. 9 times 9, 81. There, and he moved forwards. 3 times 10, 30. Yep, so our score's going up, he's moving forwards. There is a little bit of a delay. Let's see if we can change that. Do you notice we had, when we get the answer correct or incorrect, it's waiting for a second. I might just change that to 0.5. I might just halve that, so we're not having to wait for so long. So we have a correct answer, he's moving forward, the score goes up. An incorrect answer, he doesn't move, but the score goes down by 1 point. What I think I'm going to do also, I'll just put him back to the beginning position. I think we'll have another character that's going to have a continuous movement. Let's go and get another sprite. We already have the fish. What else could we have? I think we'll have the frog. There he is. And, oh, he's a green frog, and there's already a couple of green things at the background. What I might do, I'll go up to the costumes and just change the colour of him. So, let's... what colour could I have him? I don't want him to be yellow, because that will be the same colour as the other guy. I might have him as a purple colour. Okay, so let's go to the paint filler, the paint pot, and we'll just fill in all the areas that are currently green. And maybe his tongue, I don't know, a blue tongue, like a blue tongue lizard. Oh, that disappears on the background. Blue's no good. Orange, an orangey red colour. Yes, there we go. So we have our purple frog, and we want him to move slowly but continuously. So let's go over to code, events, the green flag. Then we want a forever loop, because he's going to move forwards forever. Let's go to motion. We want him to set his position there, so his position is going to be at the beginning, and then we're going to change X by, and I'm going to slow him down because he's going to be moving continually. So I'll put him at 5. Let's just have a see how that goes. Oh my goodness, far too fast. Maybe 1. Let's try that. 11 times 12, 132, 9. Oh, he's going too fast for me. All right, let's bring him back. And 0.2. Let's try that. We either need to slow him down or speed him up, and maybe a balance of the two, and this is where you need to play around with your game. So let's start again. 4 times 7, 28. 6 2 is 12. 5 times 5 is 25. 4, this is a bit of a challenge. 11. Oh, we're doing it though, aren't we? 32. 24. And what we could do, I'll just stop that. We could have something here, and the first one to touch it is the winner. We could have a line, we could have a flag. Let's go and see what other characters we could have. What would be suitable for under the water? A crab, yes. Maybe a crab. What else could we have? Oh, a penguin. Oh, a starfish. Yes, let's have the starfish. So I'll bring him down a little bit to about there. I might get him actually to just turn around a little bit. So let's just turn him, because I want both of those positions there to be equal for both of our characters. The way he was before, let me just show you. The way he was before was like that. So this arm was sticking out a little bit further than that one. So, oh, let me show you how I did that. I didn't do that correctly, did I? Let's delete him and I'll show you exactly what I did. So I went over to sprites, I came down to the starfish there, okay, then to costumes, I converted to bitmap and I drew a square around him with this button here, the select tool. I selected it and then I just turned him a little bit just so that I can try and get those two legs of my starfish in line with each other, just there. Okay, so that's about right. Okay, so let's have a see. Okay, I might bring him a bit further, a bit closer, like that. Yeah, that looks equal, doesn't it? Because his mouth will touch this arm and his tongue will touch this one. So now I can choose which one I'm going to code. I'm going to code both of them, but I only need to do it once. So I'm going to say when the green flag is clicked, forever, if then. So if we are touching sensor, if we're touching, and I could have the colour, but it's black or pink, so I think rather than a colour, I'm going to say if he's touching the starfish. If he's touching the starfish, control stop all. And say game over. Oh, no, we could say I win. If we're touching the starfish, say I win for 2 seconds. Now watch, because the reason I'm going to do this is I don't have to grab the blocks all over again for the other sprite. All I need to do is push that over onto the other sprite. I've already still got it here, but it's also there as well. It saves me having to do the whole lot twice. All right, let's test it. Oh, 11 times 12, 132, 77, 6, oh, 32, oh, 36, oh, 36 again, 40, 33, 40. Oh, did he say I win? I missed it. I was concentrating on the questions. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I am really pleased that you've watched this video so far. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy making your game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.